Down the home stretch, the NFL's most furious finish is in the AFC East, where three teams, count them, three teams are tied for first place in the division with 9-4 records. Today on the NFL Game of the Week, you'll see all three of those teams in action. In Foxborough, Massachusetts, the New England Patriots faced a must-win situation in their game with the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, led by Bob Greasy, are one of the hottest teams in the league, coming off big wins over St. Louis and Baltimore. Of course, in that game against the Cards, the ex-Purdue passer threw for 6 touchdown passes, and last week put a big smile on the face of his coach by directing the Dolphins to a do-or-die win over the Colts on Monday night. Meanwhile, in Baltimore, the Colts seem to have a somewhat easier task than their first-place partners. The Colts were up against the inconsistent Lions, a team which many experts feel has great talent but isn't making use of it. The Lions lost last to the lowly Packers, but Baltimore's Ted Marchibroda knew his team could be in for a rough day on their way to a third successive Eastern title under his reign. Baltimore, which once had the best record in pro football at 9-1, went into the Lion game the loser of 2 straight to Denver and Miami. So in sub-freezing temperatures, this was to be a tale of 2 cities and the hopes of 3 teams, the Colts, Dolphins, and Patriots, with the Detroit Lions playing the role of spoilers. In New England, right from the opening gun, the Patriots offense was on the move against the Dolphin defense. After Steve Grogan hit rookie Stanley Morgan for 31 yards, the running tandem of Ike Forty and Sam Bam Cunningham moved to the 1, where Forty followed Cunningham's block into the end zone for the first score in this crucial game. The word crucial is one often overused in football, but it certainly applied to this game for both sides, and the Patriots were dominating right from the start. The second time they had possession, they again moved downfield on the running of their 3 setbacks, Forty, Don Calhoun, and Cunningham. Again from the 1, New England scored, this time Sam Bam going up and over for the 6 points. New England had achieved Chuck Fairbanks' goal of establishing their running game right from the start, and they did it in spades, something the Dolphins never did. Today, the Patriots would gain 177 yards on the ground to Miami's mere 25. They had controlled most of the first quarter and now owned a 14-0 lead over the Dolphins. Throughout the remainder of the half, the Patriots' defense completely shut out the Dolphins, while their offense was moving well, both on the ground and through the air. Grogan hit for 5 of 6 in the first half, but couldn't get on the scoreboard again due to fumbles. Ike Forty foiled a fine scoring opportunity by losing the ball deep in Miami territory. Then on the next series, with Grogan mixing the run and pass beautifully, New England again squandered a chance to score when Cunningham fumbled the ball after a 25-yard pass to Morgan had put the team into Dolphin territory. Now, with less than a minute left in the half, Bob Greasy began finding the mark for the first time today. Passes to Duriel Harris and Freddie Solomon brought the ball to the Patriot 11, where with only 4 seconds showing, Miami had to settle for 3 points on Garo Yepremian's field goal. In the second half, Greasy continued his pinpoint passing, and the Dolphins flew downfield through the air. Number 82, graceful Duriel Harris, is often compared to Paul Warfield in style. And with Freddie Solomon, Nat Moore, Andre Tillman, and number 88, Jim Mandich on the team, the Dolphins are blessed with a rare wealth of quality receivers. In the first half, the Patriots, who ranked number 1 along with Dallas in sacking quarterbacks, got to Greasy 3 times. But now at the start of the third quarter, with more time to throw, the bespectacled passer was picking the Patriots to pieces. But just when it appeared Miami was a cinch to score, the Patriot pass rush came through, tipping a pass so that number 50 linebacker Sam Hunt could make an interception at his own 13. The Patriots defense had made a very big play where it counted most, near their own goal line. This was a key factor all day, for while the Patriots excel at pass rushing and hurried Greasy most of the day, the Dolphins, on the other hand, ranked 26th of 28 NFL teams at this vital statistic, and it hurt them dearly all afternoon. Despite the fact that Grogan had plenty of time to throw, the Dolphins' new no-name defense stopped New England and set up Miami's second concerted drive downfield, a drive that again ended with no points on the board for the Dolphins. On 3rd and goal from the 9, Greasy hit Nat Moore, who was tackled by Raymond Claiborne just inches short of the end zone. Now at 4th and inches, the Dolphins never gave a thought to a field goal and went for 6 points. But Greasy's pass to Andre Tillman glanced off the tight end's fingertips, and another Dolphin drive had come up empty. Despite the sub-freezing temperatures, Bob Greasy had a fine game. He would total 22 of 38 passes for 260 yards on the day. And finally, at the start of the fourth quarter, he brought his team into the enemy end zone with a flurry of accurate passes. After Duriel Harris had taken it down and out for 14, from the Patriot 23, Greasy, with plenty of pocket time, lofted a pass to Nat Moore for Miami's first and only touchdown of the game. With the Dolphins now trailing by only 4, Miami had 2 other excellent opportunities at taking the lead, but failed each time. Greasy was passing beautifully, but never again connected on the big play that put the game away. The closest call came from the Patriot 18, where on 4th and 12, Norm Bulash came open over the middle, but barely missed the pass. As Greasy would say in the locker room, this is indeed a game of inches and critical split-second timing. Miami had come close in their big game, but the cigar belonged to New England, who, after being counted down and out, once again are thrust back into the thick of the incredibly close race in the American Conference's Eastern Division. 3 teams tied for first place in the final week of the season. Last week, New England's pressure-packed 14-10 win over Miami was only one element in the struggle for first. The Lions' upset of the Colts was the other, and we'll take a close look at that game in a moment. The Patriots had done all they could for themselves and now actually needed a Baltimore victory over Detroit to improve their playoff chances. Under the league formula for determining division champions, New England's best shot was a 3-way tie for the title, which would give the Patriots the crown. A 2-way tie with Miami and New England would be finished. On their first possession, the Colts appeared to be the Patriots' best ally. With 3 straight completions by Burt Jones, Baltimore's offense moved better than it had in several weeks and had no trouble denting Detroit's defense. But from the 2-yard line, Roosevelt Leak suffered a devastating deja vu, fumbling into the end zone for the 2nd straight week. 6 days earlier, his fumble for a touchback against Miami, as Baltimore was about to go ahead, had helped create the AFC East jigsaw puzzle in the first place. The Colts' problem over the previous 2 weeks, both Baltimore losses, has been exactly that type of play. Whenever the goal line has come into view, something seems to go wrong. On the Colts' second possession, they reached the Lion 25 before turning the ball over. The Colts, who had been to the Lion 2 and 25-yard lines, had no points to show for it. Frustrated with the nickel and dime offense, Jones went for the bomb and paid for it. The play required more pocket time, enough time for Charlie Weaver to put his helmet in Burt's back. Jones quickly abandoned this strategy and in the second quarter marched the Colts 84 yards, but with the same result, no points. Using the running of Ron Lee and Lydell Mitchell and Baltimore's pop-pass offense, the Colts ground goalward. The short pass has become so much a part of the Colt offense that Mitchell and Don McCauley are ranked number 1 and number 2 in the league in receptions, and Mitchell would catch 9 more passes in this game. But despite 84 yards of huffing and puffing, Baltimore blew the opportunity with a missed field goal, and symbolically, Jones lost 17 yards on the Colts' last play of the first half. Though they were shut out in the half, the Colts were still in the game because they play a pretty fair brand of defense down in crab cake corners, and no amount of offensive inconsistency can cool the forces of the Sack Pack and friends. Detroit did manage one long drive late in the half, and unlike Baltimore, they got points out of it. Though Detroit did not get the touchdown, they eventually reached the Baltimore 7-yard line, where Steve Mickemeier's 24-yard field goal gave Detroit the only score of the first half and a 3-0 lead. Going into the second half, the sun began to sink, with it the temperature, and the cold played an immediate part as the second half began. Baltimore supposedly would get the ball to open the new half, but on the kickoff, Perry Griggs fumbled, although not touched by a single Detroit defender. Gary Anderson recovered on the Baltimore 23. But the same cold that had helped create the turnover for Detroit also took away their points when Rick Kane could not hold a pass near Baltimore's goal line, and Mickemeyer missed the short field goal. Although aware of what was going on in New England, Baltimore continued to play uninspired football. Now, not only were they not scoring when they got the opportunities, they weren't getting any opportunities either. 2 Colt possessions failed to cross midfield, but one that got near it gave Baltimore its chance when David Lee's punt was downed on the 4-yard line. The Colt defense held, and when Baltimore again got possession, this time it was on the Lion 38, field position that was too good to pass up. But the Colts did not use the good field position to its fullest, settling for a field goal. Threes were wild as the third period came to a close. Beginning the fourth quarter, Detroit set up to snap the tie as Gary Danielson's pass to Ray Jarvis moved the Lions to the Baltimore 22, and also points up the value of wearing a helmet. But the Colt defense came through again, forcing Detroit to take another field goal. On this play, notice the number 76, Joe Ehrman, forces Danielson to run by showing up in his pass pocket early, then hustles Danielson down from behind. Mickemeyer's second field goal of the game put Detroit ahead 6-3 early in the fourth quarter. It was getting late for the Colts. Their next possession went nowhere, and they then got the ball with 7.5 minutes to go. A pass to Glenn Doughty got Baltimore to the Lion 34. Ben Jones went for his favorite receiver. If Mitchell's touchdown looked easy, the reason is simple. It was. Looking at the play from up top reveals that no one was anywhere near Mitchell on the catch or the run. Fittingly, Mitchell's touchdown gave Baltimore its first lead in the game. Of late, he has been Baltimore's offense. In this game, Mitchell rushed for 94 yards and gained 88 more on 9 pass receptions. With less than 5 minutes to go, Baltimore led 10-6. But Detroit was not finished. With the temperature getting colder and colder, the Lions warmed to the task. If Luther Blue had been able to catch Leonard Thompson's option pass inbounds, Baltimore might have been in real trouble. But the incompletion and a scramble forced by good Colt coverage had Detroit down to its last 2 plays. A clipping penalty on Danielson's run brought up 3rd and 28 from the Lion 38. Danielson had no choice but to throw, and the Colts were waiting. Lyle Blackwood's interception with a minute left would seem to have locked up the game, but this was not the case. The Colts were unable to run out the clock and were forced to punt with just a few seconds left. It proved to be a nasty few seconds for Baltimore when Leonard Thompson blocked David Lee's punt, picked it up on 1 bounce, and scored. Even with the 13-10 loss, Baltimore remains in control of its own playoff destiny. For win or lose against Detroit, the Colts would still have to beat New England this week to win the division title. The Baltimore loss does, however, put a big hurt on New England. eliminating the possibility of a three-way tie in which the Patriots held the upper hand. The AFC East title race now looks like this. If Baltimore beats New England and Miami loses to Buffalo, Baltimore wins the division title because they will be 10-4, New England and Miami 9-5. If Baltimore beats New England and Miami beats Buffalo, Baltimore wins the division because they will have a better record in the conference than does Miami. If New England beats Baltimore and Miami beats Buffalo, Miami wins the division because they will have a better record in the AFC East division than does New England. And if New England beats Baltimore and Miami loses to Buffalo, New England wins the division because they will be 10-4, Baltimore and Miami 9-5. Confused, Mr. Colt? Well, don't be. At least you can control your own destiny. Just beat New England this week. The Dolphins need help from the Patriots, and the Patriots need help from the Bills in the amazing AFC East Division title race.